until you are no longer standing within a chamber filled with cobblestone floor and filthy water in a large basin.
Siegfried swishes some spit around in his mouth and spits.
Siegfried, I just healed you and Brunhild. How are y'all holding up?
I'm doing alright. Though, the guy's supposed to be an artificer. I have a few questions for him.
And
Speaking of questions, Siegfried, what's that thing on your arm?
It's a friend. It's something I picked up in the realm of madness that, I scratch its back, it scratches my back kind of thing. And then I'll have to get rid of it in a year or so.
I'd be careful about scratching with that thing.
and I will award experience points to the party.
Now listen, Samael, I don't judge you for what you do in your bed at night.
Have you given it a name yet?
Francisco. Like everything I name, it shall be named Francisco.
Nice.
Oh, that won't get confusing at all, considering we have a displacer cub named Francis.
That sounds like not my problem. I always use Francisco. And that makes for better fun. Hey, Francisco. Not you, Francis. Francisco. No, not you, Francisco. I meant Francis.
What about Francine?
You leave her out of this.
All right, you each received 471 experience points for that encounter.
Nice.
Where's the door out of here? Had enough combat for the day.
What?
The door, the familiar sight of the door begins to open with a loud pneumatic hiss and slides slowly open, and the hallway beyond is revealed to you all.
So he doesn't waste any time getting out of this room.
Does anyone bother to wake up Nicholas?
Yeah, I'm headed over to get him.
I believe he was still stunned.
I'm not going to wake him up. I'm just going to toss him over my shoulder and walk out.
Okay. I'll see if he saves out of the stunned condition. Be funny if he wakes up on your shoulders. Nope, he's still stunned.
Still stiff as a board.
Still stiff as a board.
Alright, this is my new weapon. How much damage does he do?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Negative 38.
This is our team attack. I rush in with my shield, attack, he gains my armor class, and then he can shoot also.
So, as you all head back down the hallways, back to the main chamber, you see the familiar sight of Keller, and she is standing now next to this pedestal. And as you approach, she waves a hand over the pedestal, and 5 rings materialize, spaced evenly, in the center of the pedestal. And she calls out to you, and she says, "Well done. You have proven yourselves worthy of being part of the Order, and Brunhild and Zito, you have once again shown your valor. I apologize for the inconvenience and the problems with the test itself. I can assure you that that does not happen often. And also, apparently, one of your friends was really trying to get to you. And as she says that, you hear a bounding noise. And as you all turn around, you see the familiar sight of Francis the Displacer Cub running and leaping headlong into Byron's arms.
Good boy. Good boy.
Oh man, I was hoping it was this cat coming to get revenge on Nicholas.
And I will put the rings into the inventory. You guys can grab them at your leisure.
Jeremy, off screen, they won't do it on this, but I'd like to ask the Artificer a few things about artifying loots and stuff like that. But just so we can say I asked him here and you can just dump the information later.
Sure thing. I can tell you that out of character, he takes a look at your loot and he says, hey, if you give it to me for a few days, I can do what you want me to do.
I'll go ahead and go with that.
Okay. And I will identify these rings for you guys in your inventory for you. There you go. Now those do count as an attunement.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Which I should mention, if you have one of those creatures attached to you, that is also an attunement. So that would be 2 attunements.
What's the maximum amount?
I believe
3.
the maximum is 3 without magical means of extending it.
Would that be the same in Eberron as other campaign settings, since magic is so prevalent?
Yeah, it's the same.
Well, I tried, guys. I tried.
Don't worry, with that plus the creature plus my loot will be my.
All right, I have identified the 3 rings to you guys. I'll drop the other rings into Zara and Nicholas's. And Keller looks to each of you as you're putting your rings on, and she says, I leave you to your business now. We will be in touch. We will be calling on you soon. I have no doubt you will do the Order proud. If you need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out to any member of the Order. And take care of those rings.
Certainly, we will.
And you guys are free to do whatever you like.
I'm currently working on a kata with Nicholas.
Okay. I'm gonna say
Remember
that
this.
I'm gonna say that he has the effects of the stun have worn off by now.
You remember that scene in Cut in the Barbarian when he's going through the sword stances after he wakes up from being dead?
Yes.
Nicholas wakes up mid-swing during that.
Okay.
So is there like any rules or rule book or anything that this order has for us to follow or have as a guide?
You mean like a code of law, like a guild's code of law?
Yeah, like their like
A
their
code of
canons, what they
conduct.
stand for, you know.
A code of conduct is, I believe, what you're looking for.
Yeah, code of conduct, ethics, and
Yeah, where's the HR department for this? I want to know what my life insurance policy is. You know, after believing to have been dead, I want someone to have money if I.
Essentially, joining the Order means that you take a vow only to work within the Order within the confines of the law for the purposes of preserving civilization and society.
That's not bad.
And that Aureon is a sovereign of both law and lore. and that the founders of the order believed that magical knowledge should always be used in the service of the law. And Zito would know that the Esoteric Order of Aureon is one of the oldest wizard circles in Brayland, and that it helped King Galifar I spread the rule of law and the code of law across the nation. And that the Arcanists of the Order fought alongside the Church of the Silver Flame during the lycanthropic purge that led to a battle against the Wizards of the Closed Circle.
That was dark times there.
And what Zito would also know is that over the last 2 centuries, long before the last war began, the Order has been quiet. And much of the zeal has gone out of the Order.
I need to report back to my church.
I have some of that magic paper.
I just came back from the dead. I need to be there in person.
I mean, come on. Are you missing the chance to have flying paper bird?
No, are you looking for an excuse to have one?
He turns around and scribbles, just writing the picture of a middle finger on the piece of flying paper, and writes the message to Samael the Reaper, and watches it magically float up and just fly to him. No reason at all.
That seems like a waste of parchment.
Yeah, welcome to our group.
Listen, throwing an axe at a flying thingy and missing sounds like a throwing axe, but I'm not judging.
I picked it up. Besides, it's my favorite one. I'm not just gonna leave it behind.
And this had a very important message to my dear friend Samael, for his eyes only. He should burn it after.
I'm reading it, and I'm not burning it. I'm keeping it.
You know, put it on the fridge.
Yes.
He's gonna hang it on his wall.
It does Siegfried's signature on it.
I have a question, though. Byron, did you need to go meet with your lady friend?
Yes, I did.
You know your way around the city better than anybody. Do we have time to go to the church before you go meet with her or not?
Yes, we have.
Very well. We really should go take care of that.
Okay, so is that what you wish to do, is head over to Sovereign Towers?
Yes.
As you are all turning to leave the chamber, Keller looks at all of you and says, specifically to Brunhild and Zito, why don't you stay with them for a bit? Teach them,
Sure thing.
teach them the ins and outs of the Order. Answer any questions they might have. And try to help them as best you can in their time within the city.
I'm going to turn around and yell back, what, you assumed we were going to let you have them back? Later, guys.
And it is currently 5 p.m. As you approach the landing platform, the familiar sight of Mr. R is he's leaning against one of the Pegasi and rubbing it down with a brush. And he turns and he looks, Oh, my friends, you have returned. Look a little worse for wear, but nothing a good night's sleep can't fix up.
Yeah, we were having a great time in there.
Siegfried reaches into his pocket and grabs a cleansing stone and makes himself look brand new and clean. I'm sorry, who's worse for the wear?
Why, you had a cleansing stone the whole time?
I always carry one on me, my friend.
You mind if I borrow that?
You tablet.
And Mark, I saw your request for the artificer. I'll take a look at that out of game.
Okay.
And you are now clean, Zito.
Zito, you no longer smell like hippogriff shit.
Yes. Welcome to the Church of Cleanliness. Not a real church, but hey, it's still a group, more like a cult. It's not really anything, I just made it up.
You're looking kind of snappy there, Zeta.
Ugh.
As
I need
you're
a drink.
As you're looking out over the Mithril Towers district, you notice that even up here at this height of the city, this mist, this fog that has wrapped itself around the towers, it just permeates this whole area. Like the entire city is just wrapped in mist. And it seems quite a bit thicker than you remember from nearly a month ago.
Mr. R, can you take us to the Church of the Silver Flame?
Of course, at once, sir. If you'll all enter the carriage, we will away.
Let's go then.
Whoa, Ginger Sassafras. Up with you get.
As we're sitting in the cart, I want to talk to Byron for a second. Byron, you there?
Yeah, what's up, Sam?
Hey, remember they were talking earlier about the war with the lycanthropes?
You mean lycanthropes?
Lycanthropes, however you want to say it.
Yeah, the shapeshifter.
Yeah. What's your opinion on shifters like that anyway?
It's unnatural. It's like Warforged. Something to be put down.
Would you say it's evil, though?
I don't really would think it's evil. I think it's not natural.
You know, some of the people in my order, they didn't necessarily believe in hunting them down and killing them the way they were. They didn't want them as part of a normal society, but they didn't think they should be killed like they were. I don't know. I just want to know your opinion on it. It just seems, a little odd just to condemn a group of people as evil just because of an affliction. Don't you think?
Well, you know my opinion on many things that related to unnatural, like our cabbie driver here, as
Yeah.
well as the lycan. They're not. They have to prove themselves before they can be anything else.
Yeah, I understand. But you would give them the chance.
Oh, I'd give them a chance. The Warforged have already proven that they're need to be extinct, but no lycan should be given an opportunity.
I understand. Thanks, Byron. And that's all I had.
So what are you going to be doing at your order? Reporting in?
To be honest, this fog is bugging me a little bit. I'm going to go in there, report in, and let them know what's happened to us over the last several days. And I'm going to go ask about the fog. There seems to be something unusual here, and maybe they can point us in the right direction. I mean, have you ever seen a city like this?
No, this is not natural. Do you think it's linked to what happened with us, or is it something different?
To be honest with you, it seems too soon to be linked to us. It's got to be something different. I mean, just in my opinion, that could be wrong, but it's got to be something different.
Well, there's not enough moisture in the whole city to create such fog here because it'd be the contrast of the heat and cold. So it's got to be some mage that's playing around too much, or something ominous that's trying to encroach on the city itself.
Well, we ran into some those mutated goblins when we were hunting down that bulk earlier. It's a good possibility that it's linked to them, but it's something that started before we got involved, I think. Now, I could be wrong. That's why I'm seeking guidance on this, but if it's related to that, then it had to start beforehand.
And we'll definitely have to find out for sure, and then if it is linked to something that's trying to encroach on the city, then it'd be within our task to prevent it if possible.
Stamp it out. It's always easier when good and evil are in black and white.
Yeah. Evil, that's sometimes evil is needed, but depends
You really
upon
think so?
what it's trying to accomplish. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking lately, exactly what is good and evil, and is there evil without good? Is there good without evil? I mean, it's not all shades of black and white. There's everything in between. I mean, it resides in everybody, does it not?
Well, it's true. Do you ask the question of a prisoner 10 times, or you try to entice them with by other means to provide information?
Yes, yes.
So
And at
that's
the
all.
same time, if I'm in a society that's 100% good, in order to preserve balance, I decide to be evil. Does that make me evil for evil's sake, or does that make me doing good since I'm providing balance?
Well, if you're within a bunch of good, you're going to do nothing but evil, then they will see you as being evil, not
So
being
it's
part of the balance.
so it's all perspective.
It's all going to be perspective.
As you're heading through the mist, the carriage bobbing, encroaching the outermost edges of the Sovereign Towers district. Through the mist, you see the familiar courtyard, the marble floor grounds, the large cathedral of the cleansing flame, and before that, you see in the park area, you see a few tents erected and individuals in robes that appear to be distributing items to folks who are lined up at tables. As you get closer and Mr. R finds a place for you to land, he lands several yards away from the tents, and you see more of these robed individuals all busying themselves, heading in and out of the tents and distributing sacks and bags to different people.
Hey, Star, you know what's going on with this?
Oh, it's it's one of the local groups, the followers of the White. They have been assisting with the churches, both the Sovereign Host and the Cleansing Flame, with helping with the destitute and handing out clothing to folks who have been displaced by the war.
This is normal then?
Normal as any philanthropic organization can be, I suppose. They were down in just last month. They were down in High Hill distributing supplies. If I remember correctly, they were instrumental in gathering folk together for your memorial. A memorial that, of course, is no longer valid. But
Oh, I'm sure I'll die one day. Tell them to keep it for me. All right, well, I'm going in there. Is anybody
How
coming
long
with
do you
me?
think we're gonna-
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It depends what I find out. Do all of you
Yes,
intend to go with me, or do you want to try to meet up over what you call them?
Well, I could have the cabbie go pick her up, and then if you're going to be a little while, and bring her here, and then we can all go to the inn.
Why don't you do that anyway? That sounds like a great idea. Then she can ride with us over to the inn.
I'll message Linda and tell her that we'll send the cab over to pick her up.
Okay, the rest of you coming in with me for now?
Yeah, sounds good. We need to
Yeah, I'll
get
go with them.
direct information.
Okay, just let the guards know that you're meeting up with us once you are done, and we'll meet you inside.
All right.
okay, so who's going into the cathedral? Is Samael, Zito?
I think we all are. I'm just going to message
Siegfried
Linda.
shall
let her
go.
know.
Okay, you're just going to make a quick message to Linda?
Yeah, and have the cabbie pick her up.
Yeah, he'll be like catching up with us before you even make it good into the building.
Okay. You managed to get a hold of Linda. She is still at the university and up in Memphis Plateau, and she lets you know that she'll be ready within the hour.
Now I'll let her know that the cabbie's on the way.
Oh, you're sending Mr. R. Oh, that's lovely. I love riding in his carriage.
Yeah, it's special.
Of course it is. It's very special. I love the the additions that he's made. Renair and I, we went on a tour around the city as we were going around Cliffside just last week.
Mm. Sounds good. So I'll see you in about an hour.
I look forward to it. When we last left off, the party had completed the test of strength and courage at Aureon Tower and had received their vestiges, the platinum-banded rings containing a Sybaris dragon shard, which allowed them to communicate with other members of their order who held one of these rings. The High Wizard of Sharn, Keller Vazar, then bid the group farewell, allowing them to continue on with their daily routine. The group met with their carriage driver, Mr. R, and following direction from Samael, continued on back to Sovereign Towers District. Once the party arrived, the group began making different plans, deciding on where to go next. Samael was adamant, meeting with the head of his order. Byron had plans to have Mr. R go and pick up his beloved Linda Wrighton within the hour. As the rest of the party headed into the Cathedral of the Cleansing Flame, Nicholas and Zara found themselves standing within the courtyard, away from the group. A private moment that they had not experienced in quite some time.
Well, Nicholas, for being an anniversary trip, we haven't really spent much time together,
Yeah, that's true. But there's not a lot of time we have. I still got to go to the Inquisitors and get that checked out, and 25 days later, we just missed 25 days.
Yes, well, we all make mistakes, and it's not your fault. I know you were all curious about the bookshelf, but we came in the town to, relax a little. I know you had your job, but well, I'm sorry that they turned you down.
It's fine. Well, I have to go get that straightened up, though. Being gone 25 days, they think I'm probably dead. So that's why I wanted to try to head to. Maybe we can go talk to Barnabas.
Alright, but I'm alright with that, but, we still haven't been with my brother yet. He sent me this letter, and she pulls out the letter that he had sent her, over a month ago now, and, I usually try to be quite prompt. Maybe we can go together, and, in a way, I'd almost rather go away from the group if we could. Just me and my brother, and you know how it is.
I mean, it is a pretty busy day today. I mean, you could go say hi to your brother, and I could go get straightened out with the Inquisitors.
Could. Or one right after another. I kind of want you to meet him again.
Oh, you want me to meet him? I thought we were going to a party to, meet him.
Oh, well, that party was like a month ago, so...
Maybe we could do another party, maybe, I don't know. I thought there's gonna be more people rather than just, one-on-one. Not my thing,
Why, what are you saying? You don't like cast?
I mean, I'm saying that, I've never met him before. It's just, it'd be nice to have a, couple friends around.
Oh, come on. He's your brother-in-law. You know, wouldn't you want to spend loads of time together? And
Oh my god, I'm falling! I'm falling! Zara, as you look up above you, about 30 yards away, you see a child crying out loudly and wildly pinwheeling his arms, and he seems to have plummeted from a bridge hundreds of feet above the Sovereign Towers district in front of the Cleansing Flame, and is falling, plummeting towards the ground.
oh my gosh. She is going to, what is she?
And the child hits the marble pavement, and his head is just a mess.
She sprints over to him and she just checks his pulse and sees if he's like, is it alive? Is the child alive? Is he alive? Can you hear me?
He is coated in blood. His skull appears, from a cursory glance, looks cracked. And looks like he is quite dead.
Damn it.
As you're sitting here, a crowd begins to form and starts getting closer, and you can actually start seeing now people in white, just very plain white robes from a pavilion of tents that is set up in the middle of the courtyard in front of the Cleansing Flame. A bit of a grassy area separate from the marble grounds, and they're all now rushing over towards the scene.
I cast Spare the Dying and see if it helps at all.
You reach your hand out and touch the child on its ruined mess of a face, and a touch of warmth travels through your hand and into the child's head, and you watch as the wound immediately mends itself. And still coated in blood streaming down its face, it's absolutely wrecked. This child's eyes snap wide open for a moment and then close immediately. The child is unconscious.
Alright, well,
Seeming the shock of the incident has put him unconscious. And as that happens, several of these robed individuals have now arrived on the scene. You notice, looking at them, that every single one of them is bald. They don't have a single inch of their head covered in hair at all. And they come up to you and they say, "Oh my goodness, is that child all right?"
He will be in a moment. Just give me a second. And she prepares and casts Cure Wounds as well.
Should I call someone? I think that there's someone coming over right now from the pavilion of the host. And as you reach out and you touch the child again, and about the same area, the healing energy, the light from your deity, once again channels through your body, and the child makes takes a ragged breath, and eyes snap open, and this young boy stares up at you in just pure shock, and immediately starts screaming, and then stops pinwheeling its arms, realizing that he is laying on the ground, cradled in your arms. And he's like, "Get off of me! Get off of me!" And he's pushing away from you now.
I just kind of, I'm like, "It's all right, child. You fell. I saw you, and I helped you out. You're going to be okay. Are your parents here? Is your mother here?"
There's up above on the bridge.
Okay, don't worry. We're going to find your mother. And she's gonna cast Cure Wounds one more time. Oh. Ah! Okay, 5 points of healing. I rolled a 1. Great, but
That's
hopefully he's feeling
two
better.
ones in a row. Let's hopefully those are all the ones you're gonna roll tonight.
That's because I rolled a natural 20 before, so.
Exactly. You burned your natural 20. Oh man.
Dang it.
So now members of the pavilion of the host and the cathedral, the cleansing flame, have now gathered, and they're pushing aside. And an old woman comes running up, squat, little, ancient-looking, wrinkled, gnomish woman, and she runs up and she says, "Get aside! Move out of the way!" And immediately grabs the child and starts pulling him away from your arms and says, "Good job. You did an excellent work, young miss. I appreciate it, but now let me speak to this child. Have you seen its parents?"
He told me that his mother was upstairs. And who are you, if I may ask? She kind of like, she's like tugging on the child the other way, like, who the heck is this random person?
"I'm Jillian. I work within the cathedral."
Okay.
I'm one of the healers from the cathedral of the cleansing flame.
At this point, I want to flank her, like I'm behind her, and kind of you said you're from the cleansing flame. You have proof?
She then looks at you, startled that you just seem to have emerged from the crowd, and she turns around and she shows you the vestments and the sigil of the sacred flame on her breastplate, and then she looks back to Zara and says, "Quickly, we have no time. The child is having a fit already, and you can see now the child is now convulsing and is now vomiting on the ground." Says, "We can take care of this if you could just go find this little one's parents."
All right. I can do that as long as he's in good hands. Nicholas, let's see if we can find his mother.
All right, and I kind of pull out my badge and briefly show it and said, "I'll be back."
See, Nicholas, you can go back to your, to Barnabas and say, "Hey, I saved a child today. Reinstate me." So, it will all work for the better.
Jillian gives you, Nicholas, sort of a look of like, "Come on, buddy. Who are you fooling?" And several of the guards that have come from the pavilion of the host now are now blocking off some of the onlookers, and they take the child and begin carrying the child over towards the tented areas where you saw the folks wearing robes, and the shaved bald individuals wearing very plain white robes and vestments look at you and say, "Do you need anything? Are you all right? Do you need anything at all? We'll be over here with the child. We'll watch over him and make sure nothing happens to him."
Oh, all right, thank you. Nicholas, let's go. Let's hurry.
Can I pinpoint where the child fell from? Above?
Yes, it looks like he fell from a bridge in the upper ward, directly above this area.
I'm gonna look straight up. Honey, do you see a taxi around? We can catch a taxi to take us up there. A coach.
Taxi?
Looking around, you don't see any immediately in your area. You don't see any sky coaches.
Hey, Nick, do you have any, just wonderful teleportation ability you haven't, you've just been hiding from me? I know you hide things from me sometimes.
No, honey, I'm not that magical, but,
Nicholas, you are remembering that within the city, besides the bridges and the sky coaches, you know that every single level of the city, the towers, there are magical lifts. That can take you up the sides of the towers to the upper levels and the lower levels.
honey, I do remember there are magical lifts that can take us up. And we need to hurry and find one. We need to find the nearest one. Is the guard still around?
Yes, there is a guard that is currently looks like he's wearing gray vestments, like possibly he was from the pavilion of the host, and he's sort of has his arms stretched out. He's a big, very thick, stout man, and he has golden brown skin, and you just see him as you approach. He's yelling to the crowd, "That's enough. It's all over now. You can disperse. Go about your business."
Excuse me, sir. Where's the nearest elevated lift?
Oh, it's right through. If you go down that alleyway over there, it's just behind the cleansing flame, up the tower. There should be one that is fit several people.
All right, thank you. Bye bye. Let's go.
Let's go. And she grabs him by the hand, and they're just like running.
Okay. As you're passing through the crowd disperses and splits away, and you notice as you're running between the buildings this billowing fog, this mist that you have noticed since you've been back in Sharn from Zoriat. Every level of the city in every ward and district that you've visited so far seems to be blanketed in this thick mist. And you remember hearing that this mist had been something that has been a bit of an issue, causing problems with sky coaches. In fact, you haven't seen a lot of sky coaches up above and around on the sides within the city. You haven't seen many of them operating lately. And as you run down the alleyway, your feet pounding on the cobblestones, you make it to the end and you see a circular platform, a polished stone platform, which is indented into the side, a little concave impression in the side of the tower.
All right, let's go. And she steps onto it and pulls Nick with her.
Okay.
I think it's over there.
As you step onto the platform, you hear a tinny voice come out from a little speaker, from a little podium on the side that's jutting up from a spindly little podium out of the side of one of the sides of this platform.
Greetings and salutations! Welcome to the XR 9000. Oh, newcomers, I haven't treated with you before. Welcome to my lift.
So sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but there's a child that fell down the bridge, and I need to get up there right away to find his mother.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Well, in that case, hold on to the railing. And after a few moments, you hear a mechanical hiss and pneumatic clack, 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 and this metal chain begins lifting up magically off of out of a reservoir on the edges of this platform, this dais, and it lifts up in the air and then immediately straightens in a circular pattern all the way around the edges of the platform.
Hold on to the chain if you have a problem with heights. We're about to ascend now.
Hey Nick, are you afraid of heights?
You know, I was before when I was a child, but due to my career choices, I kind of gotten over the fear.
Did I ever tell you that I like to climb up and down the elevator shaft in my...
No?
Okay, well you know. Hey Nick, you remember that time when, you know, that little kid, he kind of reminds you of the time that you came home and he kind of looked like him, like pretty dead, and I helped you.
No.
Oh, that's right, because you were totally unconscious and I made you all better. You know, anniversary memories, that's what it's all about, sharing all the embarrassing stories.
Isn't anniversary supposed to be fun, you know?
Oh, this is entertaining for me. Okay, your turn. What's an embarrassing story?
As you all head towards the cathedral, the familiar sight, Samael, you see two individuals clad in armor, hold with the vestments of the silver flame, and they, as you approach, they open the doors, and the doors open wide into the familiar sight of the cathedral. Within the afternoon, you see the rows and rows of the dark wood pews, polished. You see various individuals, younger boys and females wandering around the halls with their books. A few of them are sweeping, cleaning underneath the pews. And at the far end of the chamber, you see a familiar sight of Savra Bellabronte standing at attention next to Yathana Moore.
I will proceed in that direction, hang back a little bit so they can see me, but I will not intervene.
Savra sees you, notices you, and turns and says something to Yathana, and then points in your direction.
I'm gonna smile and wave.
Yathana, who's holding a book at the time, closes the book, and she yells across, "Gods, seize all of them now."
Oh, really?
And 20 plate mail clad individuals all begin. You just hear this entire cathedral is hear the sound of metal shaking and rattling as these men become streaming out from the sides of the chambers, with all armed with long swords and halberds. And they all take up a defensive stance around you, all of you.
I think I'm going to be a little late for that meeting.
Yathana begins striding down from the pedestal and says, "Who are you, doppelganger? Speak no ill or no evil in this place. To wear a face such as that is a great insult to the knight Samael."
I'm gonna pull out my holy symbol, the one with the ram's head on it, and I'm gonna flip it over to her.
She, almost in defense, pulls her hand back to her weapon at the side, and you see Savra start to lurch forward a bit with her weapon, her long sword in both hands, and Yathana reaches up and catches your ram's sigil in her hand and looks at it. "If you truly be Samael, where did we find you?"
When I joined the Silver Flame, the day that I was rescued on the shores outside of the morning, I was located at the temple when the Warforged found me.
Make a persuasion check with advantage. Well, I would say that
Let's roll both of them.
you just rolled both of them.
Yeah, 16 plus 5.
I would
Hey
say
Kevin, down at the bottom next to the modifier, there's an advantage and disadvantage button.
That
Just
works
click
on skills too.
Yep.
Okay. You want me to try again? I can get a 20.
That's okay. Yathana looks at you, looks you up and down, and she gestures with one of her hands, and you notice the plate mail clad men and women all rest easy and draw their weapons back from their defensive positions, and they all begin lining up in rows along each side of you. And Yathana begins slowly walking up towards you, Savra still with her hand on the hilt of her longsword, and she is in sidestep with Yathana as they get closer to you.
Yeah, it's really me.
You were thought dead.
I'm sorry. I regret the. Well, I don't regret it. Fortunately, I'm not. We were pulled through into another plane of existence.
Savra, hand no longer on the hilt, begins stepping forward past Yathana now and trudging forward to you. And reaches out and uppercuts you.
I'm gonna get up off the floor, rub my jaw, and say, "Yeah, I missed you too, Sabra." I kind of say I expected that.
I
That looked
mourned.
painful.
I mourned you, you fuck.
Yeah, I came back as fast as I could. Do you know how hard it is to escape a plane of existence? You're lucky I'm here at all. For all intents and purposes, I was dead.
Hang on, Samael. Something weird here. Everyone else was told that we are alive before the funeral, right? Why weren't they informed?
Why weren't they told?
Yathana. Savra sort of like snuffles a few tears, like, oh, something in my eye. And she steps back a few paces after helping you up to your feet.
That was my fault. I'm kind of dusty.
And Yathana says, perhaps we should retire to my private chamber.
Yeah, something doesn't seem right about this.
You may bring your friends if you wish. They may want to hear this as well.
Very well. Everybody come along. Oh, by the way, we're expecting a guest here as well. A young lady named Lydia. She's here meeting Byron. If she comes in, make sure the guards are aware.
I think you meant Linda.
Linda. Yes. Yeah. I really don't pay attention sometimes to girls' names. I'm too busy thinking about evil and other things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Byron's mother would burst into flames when she walked in here. Other than that,
You
Siegfried's
know
just
my
kind of
name.
looking distantly to the ground, rubbing his chin, just thinking.
The soldiers all regard you, all of you, still, and a silent and grim looks on all their faces as you head down the many rows and pews, and Yathana and Savra lead you back to the familiar private chambers, private office of Yathana. She strides into the room and then walks behind her desk and sits behind.
So, not really sure how to start this. How's everybody been?
Yathana breathes a sigh, almost you can tell of relief, and she looks at you and she says, "It has been a very trying month, Samael."
I'm sorry to hear that. We went to the house that I was sent to go to. The lady with the goblin problem in her bookstore. And our inquisitor friend Nick found a I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a metallic object that he placed into a book, and it sucked us and the bookstore into another plane of existence.
We are aware of that.
Yeah, we fought our way through there, and we managed to get back. We actually showed up in Manshun's residence, and he was very concerned about us being there, but he gave us no problem.
I'm not familiar with this man Shun.
He has a really cool-looking gauntlet on one hand. It's actually a replacement of his original hand.
Curious. It's... I don't wish to share too much. What, if anything, do you know of what has gone on in the city in the last month?
Not much. We were investigating what had happened to that money that had been taken away from the city, the embezzled funds. Then after that, we decided to go on the mission that the church had given us, and after that, we got sucked out of existence. For us, it was only a day, but apparently 25 days had passed when we returned. When we came back, we found out that several groups of people actually knew we were still alive and that we had returned before we had even told anybody. So we started investigating into that, and then we came immediately here.
Well, I'm sure you've already heard that we have a new Lord Mayor.
No, I have not heard.
Yes, the council elected Lerol Ir Nuaxla as the new Lord Mayor. And since Lerol has been elected, she has been a bit heavy-handed with the many organizations within the city. A bit more so, I should say, with the going-ons, with the strife between the Boromar clan and the Dask Guild, the Zesh Guild of Dask. It has been
I can see that.
somewhat quiet on that front, and to my knowledge, no one has discovered the pilfered funds that we discussed. However, ever since you left, there has been an increase in aberrant activity in the lower wards.
You think it has anything to do with this fog we're seeing around the city?
I do not know. It is springtime, so fog is not necessarily an uncommon sight, although it has not rained in several weeks, and this fog has not gone away. To my knowledge, Arcanists have used spells, and even House Lorandar has used their abilities to cast aside and eliminate this fog, but every day it seems to roll back in.
When we went to that house, we fought aberrant goblins there. They had been mutated into some shape, form, fashion. All of them looked, somewhat added upon. With the increased moisture in the city, do you think it has anything to do with these lower wards? Or could it possibly have anything to do with it?
I'm not certain, but I do know that, according to the Citadel, there have been several murders in the lower wards over the last few weeks. Bodies have been found dismembered and arranged in a strange spiral symbol.
Do you have it available where I can see the symbol?
Well, have you returned to the site of Uza's bookstore?
Not yet, no.
It looks like that.
We'll go take a look at it.
You actually
Hang on.
already saw it.
Oh, we
Yeah,
did?
that's where we came back. Like, when Manchu teleported us back, we were right in front of the book.
Did Samael notice it?
That's a good question. Did he notice it?
Probably not. Did anybody else take notice of the symbol on the ground?
I know Zara did. I should also mention that Zara and Nicholas have mysteriously slipped off. You did not notice them enter the cathedral with you all.
No, they probably saw the money somewhere. Anybody else take notice of that symbol? Siegfried?
I kind of saw it before I got distracted by some gum that was on my shoe.
Hey, Zeta, you two were there near the site. Did either of you notice the symbol on the ground?
We didn't have time to check the site. We arrived just as you teleported into the scene.
I'm afraid we were rushed away from the site. We haven't seen the symbol. Do you have a copy of it?
Yathana reaches behind her desk into one of the drawers, and she pulls out a bit of parchment and spreads it out before her. And on the parchment, you see a sphere, a circle, and several spirals from the outer edges of the circle that all converge in the center. This is the symbol left behind by Uza's bookstore, teleporting, as you say, away from this realm of existence. It is also the same symbol that has been found in the lower wards. Bodies arranged, dismembered, and arranged in this pattern. To my knowledge, the guard in the Inquisitor's office do not have any leads. But I haven't personally spoken to the High Inquisitor or any other Inquisitor for that matter. We have been
Can I?
tasked with sending